Happy Barbenheimer weekend. It is Sunday, July 23rd, 2023. Welcome to LCJ Live, where our top two movies, Barbie and Oppenheimer, made a combined $235.5 million. Wow. Barbie, the expectations were anywhere from 95 to 130 million. Barbie did 155. Oppenheimer's expectations were on the low end early on, about 50 million, on par with some previous Christopher Nolan movies. The expectations were going higher and higher to 70 million, maybe 75. It got to $80.5 million this weekend. Wow, it's summertime. I got the flamingos here. And everybody is taking in the Barbenheimer experience. It is amazing. With the $155 million for Barbie, it's already the biggest movie of the year for Warner Brothers, passing The Flash, which is up to about $108 million. It's the biggest opening weekend ever for a female director, Greta Gerwig. Now, some of the previous title holders in that category include Captain Marvel, just behind by a couple million, co-directed by Anna Boden, Wonder Woman from Patty Jenkins, and Frozen 2 from Jennifer Lee in 2019, which opened to $130 million. So Barbie, incredible start. The fourth biggest opening weekend since the start of the pandemic, COVID period, the last 3.5 years, whatever you want to call it, only behind Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, and Black Panther Wakanda Forever. It's the biggest opening weekend of the year, passing the Super Mario Brothers movie, which opened to about 146 million. That was its 3-day start. Its 5-day start was about 200 million for Super Mario Brothers, but incredible for Barbie. That is gigantic. Warner Brothers is thrilled. Everybody involved in the movie is thrilled. And not only did Barbie do really, really well, but the Barbenheimer double feature experience did really well. This double feature has been set for quite some time. I mean, people have been waiting 1.5 years for these movies to open on the same day. And a lot of people thought early on, well, is this going to be a competition? What's going to make more money? When it was revealed that Oppenheimer was rated R and Barbie was rated PG-13, I think it became very clear that Barbie was going to be the winner. But Oppenheimer exceeded expectations tremendously. Remember, Christopher Nolan said to Universal, if I'm going to come to your studio and make this movie, you cannot open a movie in the 20 days before and the 20 days after Oppenheimer. That's why Ruby Gillman opened June 30. That's why The Last Voyage of the Demeter opens August 11. Universal front and center with Oppenheimer for several weeks in the marketing, before the release and now during the release, and out of the gate with this combination, with people saying, I have to see both of these movies and I have to see them on the same day, $80.5 million. When you talk about this 80.5 for Oppenheimer, it is one of the biggest second place opening weekends of all time. As I wrote the other day on social media, Inside Out opened to 90.4 million back in 2015, coming in second to the second weekend of Jurassic World, which did about 105 million in that second weekend in 2015. Inside Out, gigantic 90 million start for second place. Oppenheimer, very close with $80 million in second place. It's a bigger opening weekend for Christopher Nolan than Inception back in 2010, then Interstellar back in 2014, and nearly doubled what Interstellar opened to. And Dunkirk back in 2017, this exact weekend 6 years ago. Warner Brothers and Christopher Nolan released Dunkirk. It opened to $50.5 million. And that was a PG-13 movie. Here we are 3 years later, and Oppenheimer makes $30 million more in its opening weekend. Now, yes, inflation is part of that. The premium screens is part of that. But absolutely more people saw Oppenheimer this weekend than saw Dunkirk opening weekend in 2017, without question. It's a bigger opening weekend than the 5-day start of Batman Begins for Christopher Nolan back in 2005. Maybe not adjusted for inflation. That was about $72.5 million, but still a bigger opening weekend than the 5-day start of Batman Begins. Plus, Oppenheimer has already made more money than Tenet made its entire run 3 years ago. As I wrote yesterday, it took Tenet about 25 days to make $33 million. And for Oppenheimer, it took 1.5 days. Obviously different circumstances. People were like, LCJ, there were different circumstances. Of course there were different circumstances. My point is this. Look how far we've come in less than 3 years. Look how far the movie industry has come, and look how far moviegoers have come. Remember, just 3 years ago, so many moviegoers were mad at Christopher Nolan, saying, why would you put a movie out right now? We shouldn't come to the theaters. We shouldn't go. We're risking our lives. Why are you doing this? Just to make money. And here we are 3 years later, and $80.5 million worth of people went right away to see Christopher Nolan's new movie. I found that interesting, but there we are. Oppenheimer, I think, is a better movie than Tenet, only because of Cillian Murphy's performance. Cillian Murphy is outstanding in Oppenheimer and deserves to be on Best Actor ballots this award season. But we're still 5 to 6 months away from all that happening. So much can happen by then. And when it comes to Barbie, look, a lot of people saying Ryan Gosling should be a supporting actor nominee for Barbie. No. It's a one-note rule. Ryan Gosling, who deservedly got nominated for La La Land, could have been nominated for Place Beyond the Pines, should have been nominated for First Man. The depth to his performance as Neil Armstrong was fantastic. It's a one-note role. I don't love Barbie. I don't love Oppenheimer. I don't. But I'm glad I saw them the same day on Thursday. I went to Barbie. I actually went to 2 different theaters. Do I get bonus points for that? Went to a 3 o'clock showing of Barbie. Went to a 7 o'clock showing of Oppenheimer. 2 different theaters. Experienced them both. I did the Barbenheimer experience, and it was quite a day. In fact, my Barbie showing only had about 15 people in it. The Oppenheimer showing probably had 150. But yeah, it was quite a day. Barbenheimer. And I think thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people are also doing the Barbenheimer experience either same day or one the first day, one the second day by tonight. It's amazing. It's amazing. Warner Brothers, don't forget, the studio that had Christopher Nolan for so many movies. And then he left Warner Brothers after Tenet and went over to Universal, going up against Barbie, which is Warner Brothers supporting Barbie, Barbie supporting Oppenheimer. In the end, the loser this weekend is Mission Impossible. I mean, Tom Cruise was concerned about premium format screens, and yeah, he had a right to be concerned, but I also think the Mission Impossible length of the movie and the amount of screens and the fandom not quite as much there as Top Gun Maverick. But I can't even talk about Mission Impossible yet because Sound of Freedom came in third this weekend with another $20 million. Wow. This movie just keeps making money. $20.1 million. It's at $124.8. Whew. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 dropped to 19.5. It's at $118.8. The last Mission Impossible movie made $220. At this rate, this is not going to break $200 million. Same with Indiana Jones, which added $6.7 million this weekend. It's at $159. That is not getting to $200 million. Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull in 2008 made $317. This isn't even going to do $200. The last Mission Impossible made $220. The one before that made $195. The one before that made $209. We're at $118.8 after almost 2 weeks. I mean, we knew it was probably going to get a big drop from that 56 down to 18 to 19 this weekend because of everybody going to Barbenheimer. We'll see how the next couple of weeks go. Maybe some people will go who haven't seen it yet, or will go a second time to Mission Impossible. I mean, maybe, I was thinking the other day, we've got Ninja Turtles on the way from Paramount in about a week and a half. Maybe Elemental benefiting from the fact that Ninja Turtles is not out right now. Maybe Paramount should have put Ninja Turtles out July 14 and Mission Impossible out August 2nd or 4th. Maybe. I mean, things would have had to be moved around, except I think Oppenheimer is guaranteed for IMAX for 3 weeks, so that wouldn't have helped the Mission Impossible situation. So it would have been a crazy move around, and Paramount might have been concerned that putting a Mission Impossible movie out in August would have not been great. But they could have switched some things up. Maybe Mission Impossible in June, but June was crowded. June was really crowded. Yeah, it was tough. They were in a tough spot to begin with. Every way you look at it, Tom asked for a 2-day extension early to open it early. He at least got that. He gave the movie another $15 million, I think, off of that. Maybe a little more, maybe 20 million-ish. So, in the end, Mission Impossible needs really good legs to try to get to 200 million at this point. But the Barbenheimer experience, what will be interesting is next weekend. How big will these movies fall? I don't think Haunted Mansion is going to open more than what Barbie does week 2. Could it open to more than what Oppenheimer does week 2? Maybe. If Haunted Mansion gets 30 million, that may be too high, but I'm not sure yet. That could be a battle with Oppenheimer. It could, depending on how hard Oppenheimer falls. I think Barbie could do another 60 next weekend, and Oppenheimer could do 35. Could be a good battle with Haunted Mansion. We'll have to see. But maybe they drop less. Maybe they drop more. Everybody needed to go see these movies right away. Will people want to go see them a second time? You're talking about a Barbie movie that is not pure fun. It's a lot of work watching this Barbie movie because there's a lot of social commentary. There are a lot of themes. There are a lot of messages. I didn't have a smile on my face after about the 20-minute mark because you're into the drama. There's a lot of drama and humanity and inner reflection. There's also a lot of that in Oppenheimer, but I walked out of Barbie going, whoa. Whereas I thought I was going to walk out of Oppenheimer going, whoa, inner reflection, humanity, thoughts on life and death. I experienced more of that in your face, in my face themes of that in Barbie than Oppenheimer. And I was very surprised. Are people going to want to see Barbie a second time because of all that? I don't know, especially right away. Are people going to want to see a 3-hour movie again right away in Oppenheimer? I don't know. Maybe Sound of Freedom makes another 15 next weekend. That could happen. Insidious: The Red Door added 6.5. It's at 71. Elemental added 5.8. It's at 137.2. It's gonna be paired with Haunted Mansion, probably in some drive-ins this weekend. And Haunted Mansion is a Disney movie. It is PG-13, so not all families are gonna go to Haunted Mansion. But this is the last weekend Elemental has before Ninja Turtles opens on Wednesday, August 2nd. This is the last week and a half, 9-10 days that Elemental has to make money. It'll try to get to 150. I'm not sure it can do that, especially with Ninja Turtles on the way, and families will go see that for sure. Then you've got 2.8 million added to Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which is starting to slow down a little bit, but my gosh, 375.2 million. It's about to pass Spider-Man 2. It grows from 2004. Wow. And then rounding out your top 10 this weekend, both with 1.1 million, are Transformers: Rise of the Beast, which is at 155.6, and No Hard Feelings, which 1.1 million, which is at 49.2. I think Sony will get it to 50 million, which they'll call a moderate hit. It opened at 15, made 50. More than 3 times its multiple. That's not bad, but I don't know, 50 million to me for that. It could have done more, a little more. With Transformers making 37 million more than Mission Impossible, I think Mission Impossible will make more than Transformers, but gosh, maybe it's going to be closer than we all thought. So, this week is Haunted Mansion. Also, Talk to Me, which I just posted my thoughts on Twitter at LCJ Reviews, the new horror movie from A24. Also going nationwide is Theater Camp, a movie I wanted to really like. I don't love a lot of it. That's nationwide from Searchlight. And then also, wow, this movie I watched last night called The First Slam Dunk. It is an anime basketball movie. Tremendous experience. Just unbelievable. Intense, hardcore. One of the most intense sports movies I think I've ever seen. Just, wow. It's 2 hours, but it flies by because you're invested in this basketball game, this high school championship basketball game, and the stories of the players. It is very unique. It's being shown in 2 ways. You could see it subtitled and dubbed. The First Slam Dunk from G-Kids. Go see it. It opens Thursday. Also out in select theaters right now is The Beanie Bubble. It's going to be on Apple TV Plus this Friday. Another movie I wanted to like but don't love. It's Zach Galifianakis, Elizabeth Banks, Sarah Snook from Succession. It's got some fun moments, but I don't think the story fully comes together. Eric Degliomini, is that getting a limited theatrical release? I think you're talking about The First Slam Dunk. I think it's nationwide. It's pretty nationwide, First Slam Dunk, so go check it out. Michelle the Oreo Head, hi Jackson. Do you think AMC A-list stubs is worth it? So I have Regal. I don't have Regal Unlimited. I have Regal Crown Club because I'm near Regal Theaters more than AMC, but I am in an AMC Stubs program. I'm not on the A-list. But, and I don't know the full prices of all that off the top of my head, but any rewards you can get from your movie theater chain that's near you. I know Landmark is starting a loyalty program very soon, which is awesome. Cinemark, whatever theater chain is near you, if they've got a loyalty program that gets you free screenings, reduced ticket prices, discounts on food, discounts on screenings, advanced showings, any perks that you can get, I say get them. If it financially makes sense for you, depending on how many times you go to a movie per month, per week, all of that. And also, by the way, this week on Netflix is a film called Miraculous Ladybug and Cat Noir, the movie. It's adapted from the television series, and I watched it, and it's also a unique experience. It's a musical, and it's got some visually interesting sequences. You know who's behind it is Michael Gracie, who directed The Greatest Showman. And there are moments where I was like, wow, this reminds me of The Greatest Showman. And then I find out at the end that Michael Gracie's behind it. So that is on Netflix. The Beanie Bubble on Apple TV Plus is a movie I wanted to like. I can't quite get there. And I'll be seeing Haunted Mansion this week. I'll have my thoughts on that. On The River, 99.5 The River, on the radio, and social media. That's Twitter at LCJ Reviews, Instagram at LightsCamJackson. The website is lights-camera-jackson.com, as well as youtube.com/lightscamerajackson. Eric is back. He says, A-List is good if you go twice a month consistently. After first screening, your next ones are free, basically. Okay, there you go. Thank you, Eric, for that. Appreciate it. So, wow. Barbenheimer. And that's why I put out the other day some of my predictions for what the next combo experience should be for theaters. We've got Retro Bottoms, which is August 25th. That's Retribution with Liam Neeson and the comedy Bottoms. Retro Bottoms. Then we've got Nun Things, which is The Nun 2 and Poor Things. That's on September 8th. Expendadolls, which is The Expendables 4 and Drive Away Dolls on September 22nd. And Saw Paw, which is Saw 10 or Saw X, and Paw Patrol, the Mighty Movie, on September 29. Some people are saying, LCJ, you're ridiculous. You didn't make it Saw Patrol. Yeah, but that only changes one letter. You know, if you just do Saw Patrol, that only changes the one letter of the P for Paw Patrol to make it Saw Patrol. Yeah, is that the one that maybe the media will latch onto? Maybe. But I like Saw Paw. It's hashtag Saw Paw. It sounds better. Okay? So it's Saw Paw. That's September 29th. Thank you for watching today's episode of LCJ Live. Happy Barbenheimer experience. Have a good time at the movies if you're going. Have a good time watching movies at home if you're watching some movies. On Netflix, if you want to do a Netflix double feature, They Clone Tyrone and The Deepest Breath are both excellent. Some of the best movies of the year, and they're both brand new right now on Netflix. So you got the theater combo and you got the Netflix combo. What more can you want from the movies, everybody? I'm Lights Camera Jackson. Thanks for watching LCJ Live. I'll see you next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And check out my social media this week for some interesting places I'll be going to. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.